Hey everybody, Canadian Gamer coming to you guys with another deck profile. Today we'll be going over the deck Toons for the June 2017 format. Well, ban list, whatever you guys want to call it. Now, this deck is primarily based on getting out your Toon monsters, as well as being able to control your opponent's monsters, turning them into Toons, as well as getting out some pretty good Link and Xyz monsters. The only Link monsters being Decode Talker, because it's the easiest one to get, it's cheap, and it has a decent ability that buffs itself up. So anyways, let's go over the deck. So we're running 3 Toon Dark Magicians, and Toon Dark Magician, remember, they all have the ability that if your opponent does not control a Toon monster while you control Toon World, then they can attack directly, which makes them really, really powerful. And if you get like a few of these guys out at one time, you're going to be doing some serious damage. And it has the ability that once per turn you can discard 1 Toon card. Doesn't matter if it's a Toon monster or a Toon spell or trap, just discard it. You can special summon 1 Toon monster from your deck except Toon Dark Magician, ignoring its summoning effects, and then you can add 1 spell or trap card. So yeah, that's pretty good. Really, really good way to get out either like your Toon Dragon if you can, or your Sorcerer, or Anyways, then we have Red Eye's Toon Dragon times 3, and then you can then special summon 1 Toon monster from your hand, which then is pretty awesome, because if you have any of these guys just chilling in your hand, then awesome. Mass Sorcerer, if it inflicts battle damage to your opponent's life points, you then get to draw a card. Same as Mass Sorcerer, just this is the Toon version, but it cannot attack in the turn that is summoned, just like the rest of them, because that's the way Toons work. Then we got Toon Cyber Dragon, literally the exact same as all Toon monsters, except it has the ability of Cyber Dragon, which then it can be special summoned if you control no monsters and your opponent controls at least a monster. And yeah, we only run 1 of that. We then run 3 the Blackstone of Legend, primarily just to get out your Red Eyes Toon Dragon, kind of self-explanatory. We have Necroface, because Necroface is then able to, get buffed up for every card removed from play. Now, we do run cards in here that remove cards from play. Well, banish cards. I'm used to saying remove from play, but it's banish cards. You guys know what I'm talking about. Really, this card is actually very powerful in this deck. I've run it I've gotten it out a few times, and it is actually beautiful. Now we run 3 Toon Table of Contents. That's staple for literally any deck that runs this card. Now remember, this card isn't only used in Toon decks. It's used in literally any deck that just wants to mill itself. Exodia decks are pretty big on using Toon Table of Contents. We then have Toon Kingdom. And this is one of the cards that banishes cards, but it also treats itself as Toon World. And if a Toon monster would be destroyed, you can banish a card from the top card of your deck to then prevent that card from being destroyed, which is awesome. We have 3 Comic Hands, and if you control Toon World, you can then take over your opponent's monster, like Snatch Steal. But the only drawback to this, instead of giving your opponent 1,000 life points, is that if you have no Toon World, it's destroyed and your opponent gets their monster back. 3 Allure of Darkness, you draw 2 cards, banish a dark monster from your hand. Pretty self-explanatory, just some draw power. Terraforming to then search out your Toon Kingdom. Regeki for field nuking, 1 for 1, to then get your Blackstone. Hand Destruction just to get better draws. Mystical Space Typhoon destroys spell and traps. 2 Toon Briefcase, when your opponent special summons a monster while you control a Toon monster, you're allowed to shuffle that card into your opponent's deck, which is phenomenal because, guess what? They're not getting it back. It sure doesn't destroy them, but it does allow you to completely get rid of them for a while. 2 Storm Mirror Force. This way you can take advantage of Comic Hand. You activate it, pops it back into your opponent's hand, they get it out, a turn or 2 later, you now have Comic Hand, you can then take them over. Dimensional Barrier, declare 1 monster type, neither player can special summon a monster of that type. Now this goes for Xyz, Pendulum, Synchro Fusion. I'm pretty sure this will get updated to say Link, so I'm pretty sure this card will get a reprint pretty soon. And then 2 Solemn Strikes, when an opponent special summon a monster, you can pay 15 life points to destroy that card. And then going on to our extra deck, we have 2 Decode Talkers. I really like Decode Talker. It's the only Link card that we use. I forget what the card is. I think it was Utopia think they recommended run like some more forms of Utopia, but I'm like, you know what? I want this to be a Link summon deck as well as just a Toon and Exceed deck. So I'm like, here we go. So he gets buffed up for literally any monster that he points to. So remember where it is on the board. So they're kind of in the middle of the board, right? So like pretend this is the board. They kind of sit like right here and right here. So it would point to the monster here as well as the monsters there. And doing so, he then gains 500 attack points for each card. So you can get up to 1500. And then you contribute one monster this card points to negate the activation of a card effect. Pretty good. Big Eye. Now, the thing is, Dark Magician, Red Eyes are all level 7s. So getting out Big Eye will not be an issue. And then you can literally just detach an Xyz material from this card to take over an opponent's monster. But this card cannot attack. But the card that you took over can. So literally this card has 2600, which isn't much more than Dark Magician or Red Eyes. It's literally only 100 points higher than Dark Magician and 200 points higher than Red Eyes. But you could take over something that has like 4500, you know, with some of those crazy Blue Eyes Ultimate decks I've been seeing. We run 2 Draco Sack. This one can summon the tokens. You can then use the tokens to target a card on the field and destroy them. Also, it can't be targeted by effects or destroyed by battle while you have those tokens out. So it's pretty awesome. We run 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Now, it's secondary effect that allows you to special summon a Red Eyes Black Dragon normal monster. We're not going to be using. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has Xyz. And then anytime your opponent activates a card or effect, they take 500 points of damage. So literally, it's just there to burn away your opponent and protect itself. So if you get this out, you'll probably be seeing it on your field for quite some time. Because if you play in the Link format, you don't really get to summon more than one unless you want to destroy this one. Remember that. This card has to be destroyed if you want to summon another one, unless it's one of those Exceeds where you can then use an Exceed that's already on the field as a material, such as Utopia. Like Utopia and Utopia the Lightning. I'm not going to go over these 2 cards again. They've been in both of my deck profiles so far. And I really like them. I don't know, something about Utopia is just awesome, and Utopia the Lightning is pretty awesome too. But they are recommended for this deck. We also run 1 number 101 Silent Honor Arc. And then this one takes over your opponent's monsters and turns them into Xyz. And then you can literally, instead of it being destroyed, you can just get rid of the Xyz material. So use this on your Mass Sorcerer. If you have 2 Mass Sorcerer out, yeah, you're generally not going to get it out too much. So this card isn't really going to be used that much. Kind of like the rest of these Exceeds. You're lucky if you can get them out. Abyss Dweller. Once again, it's literally can detach and prevent any card effects that activate in your opponent's graveyard. That's what you're going to be using for. It's not really used for water monsters. And then we got the annoying Zodiacs. Now, for some reason, on here, the Zodiacs show up as Juanishis. I don't know how to actually say it. But this one, if you guys look like in the description, it's actually Zodiac Tiger Mortar. And their effects are pretty much all the same, where they can use each other as Xyz materials to keep getting each other out, and then they get more and more powerful with the attack of the monster that they used. Now, I don't know if it works since the Xyz have question marks, but because I've never gotten them out yet. I might in the previews behind this video, or like the duels behind this video, so we'll see. Yeah, and then once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. Hang on, where is it? And target 1 Xyz material. Then target 1 Xyz monster you control, and add 1 Zodiac monster from your graveyard. Attached to Zodiac as an Xyz material. So yeah, they literally generally all have the exact same ability, except this one, when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, while you have 12 or more cards attached to it, you completely wipe their field in hand. This one is, let's see, add 1 Beast Warrior type that can be normal summon. I don't get why they recommend you run this. Our deck does not contain Beast Warriors at all, so I'm kind of intrigued on that. And then we got Trident, which then has the ability, like you can detach one card from this. If I can go down, thank you. Target one face-up card on field destroyed. So I think Trident. Sorry, I was looking at the freaking name up there. And Trident, on the other hand, is probably your best Zodiac out of the four of them. Maybe Tigress. So Tigress and, well, sorry, it's Tiger Mordar and Trident. But yeah, this deck is primarily based on these guys, and then these first, well, up until Silent Honor arc will be the ones that you're primarily trying to get out. So if you guys enjoy this deck tech, please stay tuned for the duels afterward. Comment question of the day: what is your favorite Toon card? I will have that posted right here where it says side. And yeah, I will see you guys at the end of the video. Bye bye.